morning, traders. This is Blake Morrow, and you are listening to the F.A.C.E webinar. I want to welcome you all. Let me go ahead and grab everything over here, and I'm going to actually take over. We don't have Dale today. He is out celebrating Easter. This is a very today for Dale. I know he's not here and he's not listening in, but this is a very sacred day for Dale, because 4 years ago today he was diagnosed with cancer, and he has fought cancer and won. And so this is like a special day for him. So he is not with us today. He's taken today off. And I said, you know, it's Good Friday. It's before the long Easter weekend. Enjoy it. And we all thought it would be a good idea that he had the day off. But we have a special guest today, which I'm going to talk about here in a few moments. Before I do, I just want to thank you all for being here. And I know a lot of people aren't going to be here live today. I didn't expect it, because it is a holiday today. But I wanted to bring in a special guest. And for those of you guys that are around and you're still in front of your computers and kind of watching paint dry or grass grow in the FX market, I'm bringing you a special treat. I'm bringing in a good friend of mine who is a longtime trading buddy of myself, and his name's Amir. But before we go into that, I just want to quickly just show you that the FX market is still trading. The dollar's, you know, giving back some of its recent gains. You can see the dollar index is dropping just a little bit. You know, it's pulling back after hitting this, you know, trend line channel resistance, or excuse me, triangle resistance after the squeeze that we saw 2 days ago for the month end rebalancing in the dollar. The dollar is pushed up and is pulling back a little bit, and you know, the euro is getting a little bit of relief. The Aussie is as well, and you can see the Aussie is kind of breaking higher. It's the currency that I'm long right now, but everything else is really quiet, and it's expected to be really quiet until Sunday night, Monday morning. So with that being said, let's talk about, and let me pull up something. I got to go over to my other screen here. Give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna bring up here in a moment. I'm gonna bring up a couple of web pages really quick, but I have a special guest today that is joining us, and I'm gonna bring you a picture of him over here. This is relatively current. It's this picture of Amir and his wife April is, you know, I would say it's probably about 2 years old. And let me tell you a little bit about Amir. Okay, and I briefly explained to you Amir yesterday if you were listening in, but for those of you that weren't and joining in, you want to join in today. I'm gonna start from the beginning. So back in the day, you know, going way back, as I joined the Wise Trade group and we sold our, you know, execution platform that we built in Dallas, Texas to this company called Wise Trade. I joined their ranks about 15 years ago, and one of my jobs there before I became the chief currency strategist for them and what had eventually become MB Trading and Ally Financial, I used to travel around the world and teach people how to trade the markets. Like you know, once a week I'd fly out, and I fly out to different cities, and we didn't have this technology that we have today where I could just, you know, sit in an office or at home and teach you guys via the internet. You know, I used to actually have to go to a hotel and put up a projection screen and my laptop and pull up the trading accounts and the charts and, you know, teach you guys how to trade the markets. Well, you know, every once in a while I'd head out to Baltimore, Maryland, or, you know, or in the Northeast in general, and I met this gentleman. His name's Amir, he was a customer of ours or a client of ours, and he. We initially hit it off. He came up and talked to me afterwards, and we talked quite a bit. And then, every time I'd come back to the Northeast, in his general, couple-hour vicinity, he'd stop by my event and and be very interactive, and it was super cool. And then we had conventions in Dallas, and he brought his wife April, who you see there. He brought her maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago, to a big it was probably about 8 years ago, maybe almost 10 years ago. Shoot, this has been a long time. I mean, this is you're talking 12 years ago and on. And throughout this whole time, we had a chat room that we'd all during the week we'd all chat about the markets, kind of what we have here today with our ForexAnalytix chat room. You guys can say hello. There's only 60 of us in here right now because it is a holiday, and you can see actually Amir is right there. And hey guys, you guys are on Jumbotron. This is where I spend my day when I'm not on here. I'm here talking with all of our traders in our community, and Amir has been a fixture in our community since we launched this one with ForexAnalytix, but also been a fixture in our Wise Trade community 10 years ago, and I've been trading with him ever since. So about, I want to say it was about we'll see the dates here in a minute, but I would say about 8 or 9 years ago. And Amir, just so you guys know, he was always one of those guys. He was in the community, very interactive, always willing to help out another trader and say, hey, what are you doing wrong? And let me help. And this is how I do things. And hopefully that suggestion will help you out. Always very helpful. And he had sold, and he could correct me if I'm wrong, he sold his businesses. I believe he had a couple of car dealerships at that point in time to trade the FX market solely. And one day he wasn't there, and then one day became 2, and 2 became 4, and like a week or 2 gone by, and I sent him an email or I texted him or something, and I said, hey Amir, where you been? And he goes, Blake, you're not going to believe what happened to me. You're not going to believe what happened to me. And he told me this story, and at the time I was like, yeah, sure. And he goes, okay, I was at home. My wife had traveled to New York to visit her family, and she took his daughter Isabella, and this is Isabella, by the way. This is his daughter. I'll come back to that. His daughter Isabella, and she was like 10 or 11 at the time. Took her to the Northeast. He was out playing poker with his guy friends, and having a guy's night out while his wife and daughter are out. And he lives in this Baltimore, Maryland, nice community. It's a nice white picket fence type of suburban type of community. And he comes home, and he walks in the door. It's like around midnight or something, and he was assaulted. His home was being robbed by 2 individuals. So these 2 individuals that were robbing his home when he came in at like midnight, after the confrontation, stabbed him multiple times and left him for dead. He comes to several hours later. He comes to several hours later and calls. Oh, here, let me get rid of you guys. Sorry. No, I don't want to keep you guys up here. I'm just going to get rid of you and move you over. and he calls the 911, and he gets taken to the hospital and treated, and nearly bled out and died. And he's telling me this like a week later, and I'm like, oh, come on. I was like, wow, that's some story. So interesting enough is uh, here's a story. Middletown man in critical condition after being stabbed. This is in 2011, so this is 9 years ago. Okay, Amir Doulatshahi, at the time 45 years old, of Middletown, is in critical condition after being stabbed at his home, and Frederick News Post reports. Doulatshahi was taken to a trauma center in Baltimore after a call was made to police. Blah, blah, blah. I can read all this to you. And I'm like, holy crap, that really happened. And, it was about a month later, and he's popping back in our chat room. He's like, you guys aren't going to believe what happened to me. I was like, oh my God, glad you're back with us. He's like, I'm having a difficult time with the recovery. And he, this went on for months. And, we every time we'd see him, we'd be like, hey, Amir, how's the recovery going? Oh my God, are you okay? And then he drops off the face of the earth again. And I end up getting a text or a email from his wife, April, because she sent me an email. She said Amir had been shot, and I was like, what are you talking about? Apparently Amir was going in for his he had an infection in his stomach from the stab wounds like several months prior, and he was going into the hospital, and he was in the parking garage of the hospital in Baltimore, Maryland, and he was held at gunpoint, and somebody was trying to rob him, and he was like, he was going to give a sample before his surgery because he was having all these complications, and the individual that held him at gunpoint wanted to take his, wanted to rob him, and he said, here, take my car, take my wallet, take everything. I just need to go into the hospital. And this assailant kicked him down the stairwell in the parking garage and shot him multiple times in the parking garage. And during this attack, he had a bullet wedged in his T8 vertebrae, I believe it was, and he was basically paralyzed, and paralyzed, like half of his body is paralyzed, and he was really, really hurt. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And you can see the story here. Officials confirm garage shooting victim linked to prior stabbing. So this is, you see in 2011, this is the story of Amir, who had been stabbed 6 months prior, then shot, and I couldn't believe it. And so Amir, obviously, where the story goes from here is, he stopped trading, and he was in a lot of trouble. His family was. His wife had to stop working to take care of him, take him to doctor's appointments multiple times. And this is Amir. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of Amir. This is actually when he looked much better. You can see his wheelchair here. This is actually a couple years after the fact. This is like, we're talking going into 2013, 2014. And his daughter, Isabella. Over the next several years, we as a trading community, I have to say I'm so proud of our trading community that we have. This group here, well, a lot of the people here in this group here, we came together to do what we could to help Amir, April, and Isabella. And we, you know, his family put together a PayPal account, and, you know, we as a group would contribute some monies here and there to help them, you know, with bills and food, and, you know, making sure Isabella had a great Christmas, you know, during the holidays over the years. And we did this for several years. And throughout this whole process, we had brought in Amir to talk on our webinars every once in a while, to just, you know, give us an update on how he's doing. When we first brought Amir, and he had the energy and, you know, to come back and talk to us, his stuttering was so bad we could barely even understand him, because half of his body was paralyzed, and he, you know, we could barely understand anything that he was saying. But then, you know, 3 months later, we'd bring him back as an interview, and he sounded a little bit better, and then a little bit better, and a little bit better. Throughout this whole turmoil, Amir had been, you know, struggling his family, as his wife would take him to and from the hospital over the course of the next several years, you know, twice a week, 3 times a week, for physical therapy, for appointments, for surgeries, to just get him better. And frankly, I don't know how one does it. He needed help with everything, and his family stayed by his side and really took care of him and nurtured him back to health. And, you know, through years and years and years of hard work, Amir's back, and he's thriving. And I'm so happy that he is back in our community and trading like he used to. And just so you guys know, in our chat room 10, 12 years ago, he was a show of force, a scalping maniac, and he would harvest money out of the currency market like it was nobody's business. And today, I'm proud to say that he's back, and it's amazing. And it's one of the most amazing stories that I've ever heard of in my life. I'm just so happy to have been a witness of this amazing feat of human will. And with that being said, I'm so happy to have Amir here today as a guest on the F.A.C.E webinar. So with all that being said, I'm going to bring on Amir, and so you guys can hear him. Let me see if I can find him here. There he is. Excuse me really quick. I have to switch him over to to bring him onto the staff. Amir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Amir, how are you doing today?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just going to go ahead and pull your picture on over here. My God, it's great to hear your voice.
Thanks, bud.
So I don't know if I got every part of the story. I mean, this has been, I mean, we're talking 8 years or so of since the initial unfortunate event happened in your life. I mean, this has been an amazing journey and the most inspirational story for me, and I know for many people that are listening in, that have been listening into our webinars for the last 10 years. How are you feeling today?
I'm great, actually. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but things are turning around and doing much better. The seizures has almost gone. Maybe just one every 6 months compared to having 4 or 5 a week. So that's gone. Trying to be mobile as much as I can, and doing my own therapy. As you noticed, my speech it's back.
You sound
I don't think
great.
there's much of a stuttering. I know. The only thing is an accent, my accent, and I can't help it. I haven't been able to shake that off. But what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. So it's been great.
Gosh, Amir, I have to say that you sound awesome. I've never been to Georgia, and it's one of those things that I've thought about in my lifetime, that I'm going to come visit you in April, and hopefully Isabella, before she goes off to college. But isn't she must be going off to college like soon, right? I know she was
Yeah,
touring some colleges.
yeah, she's a junior, and next year it's her senior year, and she's off to college. So actually, this Monday we're leaving, going to see a couple of university, Emory and Georgia Tech. So she can visit the university and see what they have to offer. I know, and she's driving. I mean, the picture that you showed before, and
Yes.
the picture of her right now. I mean, it's it's a world apart.
It's amazing. I cannot believe how much she's grown
That's my baby.
over the years. I mean, it's amazing, and she is beautiful young lady. I have to say, Amir, I have 2 boys, and I feel for you guys that have a daughter. I don't know what I would do. I don't know, but I just want to say that your story is so inspiring on so many levels to me, and I honestly sometimes, looking back, I mean, I think about it all the time, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I just don't know how you did it. Can you tell us, like, what kept you going? Because I don't know how I don't know how it's humanly possible. And so can you just kind of give us a little insight on
Honestly, it was a love of my family, my wife and my daughter, and April never left my side. And anytime, I mean, there were downtime that it wasn't only physical, mentally. I was depressed. I had PTSD, and also I had some brain injury as well that I was really I was just struggling with. Um, but it was April and it was Isabella. I look at Isabella and I couldn't just stop. And anytime I was in a bad place, April will come up to me and says she tells me, "Hey, I'm with you. If you decide to give up, just let me know so I can figure out my life." And that keeps me going. As you know, April, mm, the picture that you saw, that you show, I was over 275 pounds, and she would lift me, she would put me in chairs, she would um, um, mm, give me a bath, she would do everything for me at that time. So from 275, I'm down to 218 now, so I'm coming back down. But that was what it was the whole love of family together. And plus, I mean, I can't forget that what you all did for me. You were all there for me. You helped me emotionally, financially. Um, Around Christmas time, I mean, we I mean, we really we were broke. We were at the point of losing our home. Um, and I mean, we all pulled it together, and we did it. So it wasn't it was my family, and it was my family in a FX market that we all did it together, and I'm so grateful for the rest of my life to all of you for what you have done for me.
Well, I, 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 I'm happy to have been part of it, Amir. I couldn't imagine, and I know I've said this to our community many times over the years. We're really close. I mean, we spend a lot of time together, me and you, and the usually 100 other people that are in the chat room. I mean, I work from home. It's a lonely place. Yeah, as do you. I don't work in an office environment anymore, not like I used to. And everybody in there is my extended family. I mean, I chat with the people in the chat room more than I chat with my own family at times, especially my kids during the week. It seems like I'm with these guys and gals more than anybody. And that's what we do for family, right? And in our community is we're there for one another. So we were very happy that we could be there to support you, and we're just, I'm speaking on the behalf of everybody in our community that trades the FX market, that's part of the now ForexAnalytix family, but then the Wise Trade family. And I know many of the wise traders are actually listening in right now that may or may not be trading the markets currently, because in the FX market, for a lot of people, I know like one of our old chat room members, Bruce, he's listening in right now. He's from my town, from Phoenix, and I know he may not be in the markets as much anymore, but he's tuning in right now just to listen to you. Marie from Detroit, who is doing real estate because she's got into the real estate market when the Detroit market was really down in the dumps several years ago. She stopped trading FX to do real estate in the time being, but she'll be back in the markets. And she was very much of a supporter of you years back, and I know she's listening right now. I don't know if she's actually listening in right now, but I know she'll be listening to this interview because we keep in touch via Twitter. And so whether it's our community that's right now in the present, or the ones that have been in the past that will be back in the future, I can speak on the behalf of everybody. We are so proud of you, Amir, and we're so happy to have you back. And I'm so happy to have you in this, this community that we have right here with ForexAnalytix, to have you chatting with us every day. And, and just so you guys know, Amir doesn't just chat. Amir is, you know, he's trading the markets pretty aggressively. So tell me, and everybody here, how's your transition been back to trading? Because I'm gonna take you back to in the day when we had the Wise Trade webinars and we had the daily, you know, we had the morning edge, and we used to broadcast over the, you know, we had a television set, and we'd pipe you in via, you know, like a live broadcast from your old office in Maryland, and you, I can actually see right now the treadmill behind your. Do you remember that? In your office,
Yeah.
you had an old treadmill back there. I can actually visually see your face on the live feed with your treadmill in the behind you and talking, and you were, you know, so active scalping the markets. How's the transition been back into the markets over the last couple of years? Because now over the last year and a half, you're very active and you do really well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So if you remember, it was 2 years ago, almost a year and a half, I think, that we were talking, and you mentioned to me and said, I mean, do you want to come back to the market and test it? I said, oh, I don't know. I don't know where my head is and all of that. And you even said that, you know, we can set up an account for you so you can start trading. And that made me think, and that really motivated me. And I said, you know what? I talked to April. I said, you know what? I want to do this to see if I am capable of.
Can I stop you right there? Just so you guys know, when I said that to Amir, I said, hey, listen, you know, we were talking amongst our community, and we're like, hey, let's put some money together. We're going to give Amir an account so he could start trading it. And just so as everybody here knows, Amir declined. He declined our offer. He, in true Amir form, wanted to do it on his own. So, okay, now I'll let you go back. You talked to April, and she said,
yeah, I talked to April, and I said, yeah, why not? Because that would be the next step for you to try to conquer things again. And again, at that time, I wasn't as well as I am right now. I was stuttering real bad. I was still under a lot of medication. Really, I was on morphine. I was on oxy. I was on a bunch of stuff that it would just drove me crazy. So I weaned off all of that medication. I don't take any narcotic drugs anymore. So that made me feel much better. And then we put some money together. You know, I started the account with like $1,800, and I came in, and as you know, it was very slow for me. It was right. I think it was right before. I think it was right before Halloween that I started trading. It was slow. My mind couldn't take it. I couldn't look at the monitor for a long time. But I went back to what I knew, and what I knew was you know, I trade with the trend lines. I trade with the Fibonacci. I trade with the simple technical, and then I had you on my side because for instance, the bias chart that you have, and you put it on and you work on it and you put it on our chat room. That's like my Bible or Quran or whatever you want to call it. So those are my guidelines of trading. And I started, if you remember, it was two hours, maybe 2 hours a day. I started trading, and I came back and trade more. I wasn't as aggressive. I couldn't be as aggressive that I was in the past really scalping the market the way I used to. But having the chart now, having Forex analytics and reading it, and another part of it being in a chat room, it helps me a lot. I trade my own trade. I don't. I really don't follow anybody 100% of the time. I do trade based on you or some other people, but having a different idea and having a different set of eyes on certain currency that I am looking at, it make me pause or make me think twice about my action and my positions, which really helps me a lot in trading. So I normally right now I'm up around 7 in the morning, and I do my due diligence like past. I get up and I look at the chart, and I pick 1, 2, or 3 pairs that I think there is a good potential for 3 to 4 hours that I'm in front of the computer, so I can trade it. And then comes your bias chart. I read everything that you put on. I not really I see everything, but my mind does not grasp so much information and material that is on the Forex analytics. So I really look at the basic and technical that you have, and I follow that, and I'll go, and you all know it, that when I'm in a trade, I tell you I'm in a trade, and when I exit, I let you know that when I'm exit. So it's like I'm trading live with everybody else. And hey, at some point, you and I might be against each other on the same pair in a different direction. But I stick to my plan. I don't abandon my plan, and I mean, as I said, I started with $1,800. Right now, I am in a mid 5 figures in my account over a year and a half of trading, which, hey, I'm very proud of myself. So, and that's really what I have been doing.
That's Amir, it's
Blake,
awesome.
Yeah, and I used to be in front of the monitor maybe 20 hours a day, but being in front of the monitor maybe 5, 6 hours or 4 hours has given me a different perspective to the market, because when I come back, I see what happened in the past. I don't miss things that I used to miss, and I don't jump in because I have to jump in out of fear of missing a trade or anything. So even spending less time in front of the monitor has been really helpful to me. Seeing a broader market than watching every tick moves up and down.
Amir, it's amazing to have witnessed what you have gone through, what you have done, and where you're at right now. And I have to say, it's like it's so amazing, and I'm so proud of you for it. And it's so cool. What I also realized is that you're obviously trading the markets well. You're not in Maryland anymore, and you can see by this picture. And this picture was taken a couple of years ago. You're in Georgia now. You relocated your family after the events that have taken place in your life, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we were just tired of um, living in a metropolitan area, traffic, crime, and everything that it was happening. And then during these years, April, uh, every Thanksgiving, April put put me in a car, and I didn't know where we were going, and drove me down to Georgia. We live in St. Simon's Island in Georgia. It's a really small island. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Because one of her besties lived there, and we spent Thanksgiving with them. I mean, I was out of it. I wouldn't know where we at and what it is. But
That'd be
the,
around this time.
the last, yeah, and then yeah, and then after this is I'm actually much better. As you see, I have a cigar. So when the cigar is in the picture, that means yes, I got the clearance from doctor says, okay, now you can smoke your cigar if you want to. But it was before that. But the last trip that we made, and I was more aware of the situation and my surrounding. I look at it and said, oh my God, this is such a beautiful place. I've been bringing you down here for the past 3 years, 4 years. And I said, let's move here. And we were up there. We packed up, and we came down here. It's such a beautiful place for us, beautiful place for Isabella. And she loved it. I mean, we love it, and it's a small community. It's a small, really small. It's a 2 miles by 12 miles island that we live in, and it's been. I mean, that brought me back, helped me a lot to uh, to concentrate, to we don't have to travel 2.5, 3 hours back and forth to Baltimore for physical therapy, for speech therapy, all that stuff. So we got our life back, and it's been great. The updates that I could also give you, these two incidents, as you know, they were not related. They were two separate incidents. So
Right.
a few years ago, um, um, a group that robbed my house and stabbed me, they were captured. Um,
Thank
in
God.
total, yeah, in total they robbed over 120 homes. They were a group of 15 that would go to a neighborhood and just rob homes. So they got captured, but um, the other guy who shot me never heard anything, so we don't know. But uh, I was never angry about it. I was never for revenge. None of that stuff. I mean, my whole concentration was to be able to get better and come back. So that's pretty much it. But I'm back. I'm doing great. I smoke my cigars once in a while. I drink my whiskey, scotch, um, and enjoying life.
I was gonna say,
That's what you get
that
for being forced to retire before age of 50.
you're always posting these pictures of you and your bottles of whiskey, which I'm glad that the doctor has given you clearance on that, and it's so awesome. And
Yeah, yeah.
so
That's my
the
meditation.
and I was gonna say that the thing I love most about this picture of you and Isabella is that you have your cigar tucked in your shirt, and that is classic Amir. And just so you guys know, Amir, 1 year, like years ago, this is talking about 9 years ago, Amir, and by the way, Amir and his family, I remember the one Christmas in particular. I think it was the first Christmas that we all band together and helped out because we wanted to make sure Isabella had, wanted to try to make sure she had a great holiday. And my wife was just setting up her company, Birdie Town. We set up a list so she could put a bunch of items that she wanted, whether it was like a new iPod or some things. And April and Isabella handmade crafted me and my family this beautiful Christmas decoration. It was a glitter bomb. I honestly can tell you it was a glitter bomb. It was so pretty, but when it got to me and I opened the box, glitter went everywhere. It was so funny. I'm like, oh my god, I just got hit by a glitter bomb, and it is this beautiful paper mache type of ornament that they made for me by hand, and I have it and I treasure it, and tell your daughter and your wife I still have that that ornament, and I love it. But I just remember that year, or maybe it was the following year, you sent me some cigars, and which I did smoke, by the way, and you sent me a box of cigars, and since that day, I think it was every 2 weeks, I still get a catalog in the mail from that company. they send me which is awesome. But Amir, I just want to say you are the most inspirational person in my life. There's no one that I mean, you know, you hear all these stories on TV, and you know, whether it's 60 Minutes or whatever, of these inspirational stories, but you're really a hero. And I want to just take a moment to read a couple of comments from our listeners, if you don't mind. That none of them are questions; they're more comments. Bruce from Phoenix, who is used to be in the chat room with us. He's not really trading as much anymore, but he says, hey, Bruce from Arizona here. I was thinking about Amir the other day. This is incredible news. So awesome. Alan says, outstanding courage. Eric, who's E in our chat room, says, you sound so great. And he misses Marie as well. And Chad says, accent, that South Georgia draw, question mark. Craig says, be proud of your accent, Amir. And Vamsey says, you and Amir brought back nostalgic moments years back when the incident took place years ago. Amir is truly inspirational to the fighting spirit. And Alan says, hero is the right word. And Alan says, I'm in tears over here, Blake. And Assad says, God helps those who help themselves. And Ron, who's a longtime listener, Ron says, if you ever wondered what courage sounds like, here it is. And that there's no better way to really, I think, explain your situation. It really is the case. A couple, obviously you can go back in the chat room and read all the comments that just came through, that are everybody's saying nice things to you, but you can catch up with them in the chat room. And Amir, I really look forward to the day that I get to sit on your patio and share of a bottle of whiskey with you and a cigar. I really look forward to that day.
Invitation is always open to you and everybody else that I know and I chat with. It's not a matter of being a hero. It's just that I wanted to have my life back, my normal life. That's all I wanted to have, to get back to my family and what I have. That was my true inspiration to get back, and that was it. I wanted my simple, good, full of love life back, and I'm there, and I'm so happy, so happy about it.
And you should be inspirational to anybody who's listening in, first of all. But if you're a trader, specifically, and you're listening in, for somebody to go through the situation that you've gone through, Amir, and come out on top. And when I say coming out on top, you're living, you're thriving, you're loving, you're trading, you're making money trading. For you to be able to do that, everybody listening in should be like, man, if he could do it under those circumstances, I can do it. And really, you are an inspiration. And I'm so happy to be in your life and part of your life. And tell April, I'm even though we're friends on Facebook, I don't get on Facebook hardly at all anymore, but just tell her that she's the best, because I agree with what you said earlier. Because of her, you're here today, and your daughter obviously as well.
Yeah, she's my true angel. I mean, I always believe that she is my angel, and that's why she's with me. Without her, I don't think I would have been able to do 20% of what I have accomplished up to this point. So yeah, she's not listening. I'm glad she's not. Otherwise, I'm going to be in trouble. But yeah, without her, none of this was possible for me. And she's a true rock.
She's amazing.
In my life. Yeah.
Absolutely an amazing woman, amazing woman. And tell her thank her and thank your daughter for me. Amir, I just want to read you a couple more comments. JT says, JT from our chat room says, I don't even have any words to say. I'm speechless. Thanks for sharing, Amir. And Chris says, I'm a newbie with F.A.C.E. Just wanted to say, truly inspirational story. You're a great bunch of guys providing great services to the trading community. Have a fantastic Easter, and thank you. Nick says, true warrior, Amir. All the best to you and your family. And Amir, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. I know you're with us for those of us in the community, you're with us every day, but thanks for taking the time to actually speak with the F.A.C.E. community and share your story, because like I said, there are going to be people that listen to this over and over and over again, this particular interview, because it's so inspirational. And I'm proud to call you my friend. I really am.
Same here, bud. I'm happy that I'm back to my trading family. I'm grateful. I love you all, and I mean, you said it again. Trading is such a trading market is such a lonely place.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And
so, go ahead.
And not only we can share ideas, we can also use some laughter in our chat room that we are together, and that makes your day goes faster. If you have a bad trade, it helps you. If you are trying to open a position, closing in, being in our chat room, it helps you a lot to make a sound decision for yourself. So really, without chat room, it's a must for me, and anybody who's in that chat room probably would agree with me that it make us all a better trader, and all of it is thanks to you. From 11 years ago, you have been a great mentor, also inspiration to us, and you never left anybody behind. Let me tell you that, Blake, and I'm grateful, and I'm honored to call you a friend as well.
Oh, thank you, Amir. I really appreciate the kind words. With that, I'm going to let you enjoy your Easter weekend, and I want to just thank you again. And next time you come back, maybe we'll talk a little bit about strategy and how you tackle the markets, and And you sound so amazing. I'm so tickled just to hear you speak. I can't get over 7 or 8 years ago when we just couldn't even understand a word you're saying, and now it's like so amazing. It's so great. It's so great. All right, Amir, thank you so much for being here with us today. And folks, I am going to be with Grega Horvat and Steve. We're going to talk a little bit about the markets here in a few moments, but I'm going to let Amir go and enjoy his weekend. And again, lots of love to your family, Amir. Kisses to April and Isabella, okay?
Thank you. Happy Easter to all, and have a great holiday.
All right, thanks, Amir. Thank you. All right, I'm going to put you on mute. And guys, that was Amir Doulatshahi. Again, just an amazing story. I'm going to get rid of his picture here. If you, I mean, you just Google search his name and then read, like, you know, the stories here. It's like, you know, for that to happen to one individual, for those two events, they're not related. To have those two unfortunate events happen to one person in a lifetime is like, I don't even know how that happens, but how he has persevered and overcome adversity is the real story. And I'm just, again, I'm so happy to have him here and be a part of it, and to be a part of his, you know, his journey, just to experience it. It's so inspiring. All right, I know Steve and Grega and maybe Stelios are listening in and live right now. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, Blake, absolutely.
Yes.
Hey guys. Wow, who was that? What an amazing story with Amir, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey Grega, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. It's been a while since I was here, huh?
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So, guys, what do you think about Amir?
It was, for me, it was you know, excellent hearing Amir again. I mean, since the last time I heard him on the morning edge, I wouldn't even have guessed, you know, that he went through what he did. If I hadn't heard him before, if I didn't know his story, he sounds so much better. I mean, you know, it's excellent to hear him, and I see him every day on the chat room. I mean, you know, I'm really proud of him. He's an amazing guy. He's truly inspirational.
He is, isn't he? Yeah. And you've heard him before. I mean, through the whole, literally. I mean, you probably, I guess I came across you, Steve, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've heard Amir back when
twice. Yeah, I've heard him twice, actually.
Like, how did he sound when you first heard him versus how he sounds today?
It was very, very hard tracking what he was saying. It was very, very hard. Now it's, you know, he's back to, I guess, you know, normal, and you know, I'm absolutely certain it has been a huge fight, and you know, a slow path to recovery. But you know, Amir is obviously born a fighter, right?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. It's just it's amazing to hear his recovery, and especially his recovery in the markets. I mean, you see him in the chat room. He's just super active and scalping around, and you know, he may not be trading huge size, but he's doing it. You know, he's doing it, and he's doing it, you know, successfully. And I applaud him for his tenacity and keeping it simple and getting in there.
I can tell you one thing: the vast majority of people would have quit with a lot less. You know what I mean, happening to them.
Oh God, yeah. I would say, yeah, the majority, it's the high majority for sure. So it's really cool. Hey, I'm going to have to bow out here in a moment. But I know that Grega wanted to share some technical views.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've definitely missed Grega because of the time change. It wasn't possible for him, you know, until the US and the European hours recoupled with, you know, the usual difference for him to be during the past couple of weeks. And I'm sure everybody in the community has missed his, you know, Elliott wave point of view. So, you know, I'm really happy we have him here.
Great. And so, hey guys, I'm going to turn it over to you. And Greg, I'm not bowing out because you're here. I got to bow out because I got to take care of something personally with my son this morning. So I'm not going to be with you guys. So I'm going to turn it over to Greg. Do you want to share your charts?
Sure, of course.
Okay, cool. And hey, thanks for taking the time, Greg, for being here with us. And I'm sure everybody's going to love to see your Elliott Wave point of view.
Of course.
Bye-bye, Blake. Have a nice day, mate.
Bye, Blake.
Hey, you guys have a happy Easter, and everybody listening in, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to actually come back and listen to the recording of Greg's piece when we post it on YouTube a little bit later today, when Valu, our technical wizard, posted up there later today. I'm going to listen to it because I want to hear your viewpoints as well, but I have to bow out right now and I have to go. So happy Easter, everybody. Enjoy the long weekend. Thank you.
Happy Easter, Blake.
Thank you, Stelios. You too. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Steve.